What's poppin', Lo Gang? It's your boy Logan Paul here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having a great April Fool's Day. It is your boy Scrubby. I bet I pranked you. And if you are having yourselves a great April Fool's Day, go ahead and smash the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam, you're going to get pregnant. I don't care if you're a dude. I don't care if it's impossible for you to get pregnant. It doesn't matter. If you don't press the like button, you will be having a baby. Real talk though, guys. Hope you are having a good one. I figured since today is officially the start of the month of 420, I would go with a crazy story that I've never told before. I was always afraid to tell this one because the person that was involved in it was like super embarrassed and always said they'd be mortified if I talked about it. But I guess I've gotten way more persuasive, so they said that I could. So I'm openly gonna tell you guys about the time that me and my friend catfished a rich Canadian man in order to get him to buy us video games and Xboxes. Yes, that is right, ladies and gentlemen. Every now and then, everyone needs a good sugar daddy in their life. This is actually the only time I've ever done anything like this, okay? So don't be too mean. We're just vibing. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Back when I was a freshman in high school, I didn't really have a ton of bands on me, you know? I've always been a hustler, but every now and then I would run into a period where I, like, just didn't have a lot of money. And I've always been somebody that gets into things that cost me. And at the time, I was super into Call of Duty, specifically Call of Duty Black Ops. And this was more towards, like, the end of its life cycle when all the map packs were out and they had all those DLC camos that were like $2 a piece. So there's, you know, what, 30 of them? So maybe $70 worth of content. All in all, to get Black Ops 2, all the map packs and everything, you only needed about $200. And I already had the game, and I was in a position where me and another one of my friends were like the only ones amongst all of our friends who didn't have the map packs and didn't have all the camos. It was me and my friend Trevor, which, I mean, I should have known that Trevor would get us into trouble because his name is Trevor. You should never trust anyone whose name is Trevor. No offense. I'm sure a lot of you guys are great. I'm just saying, every time I've heard a story with the person Trevor involved, it never ends with, oh, Trevor made a really smart decision and we didn't get into a crappy situation. So me and Trevor had bonded over the fact that, you know, we didn't have the map pack and we were the only two kids that didn't have all the skins. It was just like a funny joke between us because we would get bullied in the game. Whenever we would kill anybody, they'd be like, oh, whatever, you won't be able to do it on this map because you don't have it, haha. It was just trash talking. That's just what you did. And one day I log in and Trevor, sure enough, now has every map, every skin, and is in our Snapchat group chat, which he used to not be allowed in because he didn't have a smartphone, flexing his brand new iPhone and scuffed controller. Like, homeboy got a $1,000 setup upgrade when we were freshmen and didn't have jobs. And knowing that we didn't have the map packs before, it wasn't like anybody expected this to come out of nowhere. And most of the other kids in like our little gaming group didn't question it because they didn't know Trevor. But I knew Trevor was not ballin' like that, alright? Most 14-year-olds don't suddenly come into a grand overnight unless they're doing something shady. So I text Trevor and I'm like, yo, what happened? And he messaged me back and says, dude, I have to show you this thing. I can get you all of the map packs and all the camos. And I say, yo, that's awesome. And he's like, yeah, we'll talk after we game. So that's in a texting conversation outside of the Xbox party. So we game the rest of the night and Trevor's playing way better because on top of everything else that he had already flexed, he had gotten a brand new gaming monitor to game on. Like, homie had basically gotten an entirely new setup and was going to teach me the secret to getting it for free because I knew there was no way he was paying for it. Later that night, everybody else goes to bed and it's just me and Trevor in the party and he says, okay, you promise you won't tell anyone? And I'm like, yeah. And he says, I've been using my sister's pictures on Tinder and setting my age preferences to older and then telling old dudes that I need tuition money and then just buying the stuff that I need on Amazon. And I'm like, okay, well, is it working? And he's like, dude, these guys are giving my sister so much money. It's crazy. And I asked the obvious question. I'm like, all right, does your sister know? And he says, well, obviously not because I'm sure she'd be doing this herself, but I don't want to tell her because I've got a good thing going for me here. It's basically unlimited money. And you got to remember, like, this is back in 2011, 2012, so definitely not in the era of like OnlyFans or this being a common thing. This is still in the period where having a sugar daddy was a big like, oh wow, that's so bad. Now I swear every girl has sold their feet pics at least 12 times to 15 different people, including their Uncle Steve. It's really wild, and I ain't juggling my judgment. I am not, because I mean, get your bread up. I don't care. Haha, that's an iDub reference. Get it? Get it? That's the only thing you guys are getting out of me as for my opinions on that one. And then I asked the important question, how much money is he making? And he's like, I made $500 yesterday. Mind, we're freshmen in high school, so that's nuts. Is that anything compared to OnlyFans bands? Not really. You know, I'm sure they're making a killing. But at the time, that was crazy, and it would get me all the map packs. So I'm asking him, like, okay, what do I do? And he says, use one of my sister's hot friends. So he sends me this girl's Instagram, and I screenshot it, and I make a Tinder, and I put it in Toronto, Canada. Like, I paid the $4 to be able to change my location. Made the bio super convincing, you know, like, just looking for somebody to love. Like, just all that crap. And that's how it started. And I wouldn't even check it very often. I would just match with everybody. I would just keep swiping as much as I could. And there were tons of dudes who their first message would be like, hey, do you need money? It was insane. I would never message anybody back that was like, hi, I'm looking for love, or hey, want to meet up? Because I would feel bad catfishing somebody that like actually, you know, cared and would get their feelings hurt. I didn't really want old dudes to be in love with me. I just wanted their money. So some dudes would be like, hey, what's your PayPal? I'll send you money right now. Like, whatever. You don't even have to give me any. So, okay, if you want to send me money, I'm not going to decline it. So I made a fake PayPal with a fake name. And sure enough, after a day of just being on Tinder and like having old dudes message me and be like, let me take care of you, I had $150. So I get the map packs for Black Ops 2. I get every camo and I'm like, yo, this is the ever. This is sick. And for maybe 2 weeks, we were constantly on Tinder. Eventually, we ran out of people and would like switch cities. But just for me, off of taking people that were willing to give me money for no reason, I probably made like $2,000 on Tinder pretending to be a girl. It was the golden age of being a chick on the internet. Now it's just so flooded. I don't know if you could do it the same way. But obviously, I'm like buying all these video games, having a great time because I'm a freshman in high school and I'm a moron. But my friend apparently didn't get the memo about not flirting with dudes and actually getting them to catch feelings. Because this dude was honestly messaging like 30-year-old men and being like, oh yes, I'll move to Canada and marry you. You just have to give me like the $2,000 to get to Canada. I was small fry stuff. I wasn't willing to, you know, destroy somebody's life for money. I'm not down with that. But if you want to send me $20 to meet me on Tinder, that's sick. I'm cool with that. And this guy also wasn't smart enough to not give the sugar daddies his house address. I was smart enough to have the stuff shipped to somebody else's house that was a neighbor that I knew wouldn't get home until the packages were delivered, so I could go to their house and take the package. I was smart, and I wasn't making dudes fall in love with me, and most of it was just money. I didn't give my address to anyone except for one dude, but that's another story. That was stupid, and I made a mistake. This dude was out here handing out his address from the beginning. Basically, after I made the first mistake, I was like, look, if you want to send me money, it's strictly on PayPal. You're not going to get anything involving my address or where I live, which is the smart way to do it. For sure. If you want me to be completely honest with you, you need to be sure that no one can stalk you if they think that they've fallen in love with you and then they find out you're a boy in your freshman year of high school scamming them for Call of Duty skins. Anyways, one of these dudes that my friend has gotten to fall in love with him ended up doing some research on the address he gave him and realized that the names that were on, you know, the paperwork for the city involving the house and the girl's name that very clearly did not have the same last name sparked his interest. So he ended up, I don't know how, finding my friend's mom's phone number, calling her, and basically getting to the bottom of it, which is that her son had been flirting with this dude and had gotten him to like say that he loved her and all this stuff, and all along was getting him to send him massive amounts of money so that this fake girl could move to another country. I'm not that stupid. Obviously, I realized that that's a very bad idea, but my friend gets caught red-handed, basically with his hand in the cookie jar being like, yes, I did flirt with an old man, but I only did it for monetary gain, so I guess it can't be that bad, trying to explain that to his parents. And instead of being a good friend and going down with the ship, my friend immediately decides to rat me out to his mom and is like, he did it too, to try to make his punishment, you know, not as bad, which is dumb, because if you snitch on me, I'm snitching on you. So my mom walks into my room and she's like, hey, I was kind of curious about where you were getting like these monitors and Xboxes that have anything to do with the old men you've been scamming in Canada. And I'm like, huh? And she proceeds to basically tell me everything about how this old dude had basically called my friend's mom and was like, your son's convincing me that, he's a girl that's in love with me and like making me send him all this money. So I have to explain to my mom, no, mom, when I pretend to be a girl on the internet, I don't do it creepily. I just, put my PayPal in the Tinder bio and hope people send me money. And so my mom is obviously incredibly disappointed in her son's stupidity because all she's ever taught me is don't talk to strangers on the, and here I am milking them for money like a fat cow. My parents actually didn't make me send anyone their money back because they realized it would probably be more awkward for these grown men to get scammed by like a 15-year-old kid than for them to just think that they got ghosted by a girl. So my parents actually didn't make me send anything back or do anything, but my friend had to write letters to each of the old men he had scammed, apologizing and saying how he would like do better in the future, and honestly was a moron because we had a good thing going. Back in the day, it was easy to make money. I'm sorry that, like OnlyFans ruined all that, but hey man, people are still getting the bag. It just takes more commitment. You can't be a 15-year-old boy pretending anymore. Anyways, guys, on that note, that's gonna do it for the video. Happy April 1st. I did prank you by convincing you I was Logan Paul earlier. Today's notification shout out goes to McFlurry69. If you want a notification shout out, turn on those notifications, send a screenshot to my Instagram at Scrubby. And while you're sending it over there, follow me on Twitter at Scrubby_2. I want to say thank you guys so much for the support recently. I'm sorry for not uploading these last 2 days. I didn't feel good. And, I didn't want to, like, accidentally get the Rona and not be able to upload for a month. That would really suck. So I just rested a bit. Hope you guys can understand. But, seriously, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, you better make sure that they're really hot. And if you don't, you're just a little bit of a moron. The gameplay is Sunset Overdrive since I know I'm going to get a million comments. And, yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys next time with another video. I'm out.